Good morning everybody, guess where I am today? I'm actually on board RML 887 again, and we're actually heading along the A4 along the West Cromwell Road. We've just left Barron's Court and we're on our way to a corporate hire near Heathrow Airport. So we're heading along the A4 coming out of London, so we're coming up to Hammersmith in the next 5 minutes or so. Hope everyone's keeping well, hope everyone's keeping out of mischief and all that sort of thing. So yeah, here I am, living the dream again, on my way to a corporate hire duty. So we're going towards Hayes and Harlington, just west of Heathrow Airport. And as you can see here, we're busy travelling along the A4, where this becomes West Cromwell Road, and then we shall be shortly going on to the Hammersmith flyover. So Hammersmith is quite a well-known part of West London. Also featured in the early 1990s comedy series Bottom, starring the late Rick Mayall and Adrian Edmondson. So now we're heading on the Hammersmith flyover. So this is the Hammersmith flyover from the eastern end. Over there's the famous Arc building, which was built in the early 90s. And we're now about to cross over the District Line and Piccadilly line of the Underground. There's a train of District Line F stock going into Hammersmith Station, either to Ealing Broadway or to Richmond. There's a famous church in Hammersmith. There's a famous event in Apollo, or Hammersmith Apollo, or Hammersmith Odeon as it was back in the day, where many rock bands and musicians played. So now we're heading west along the Hammersmith flyover towards the direction of Chiswick. And to all our American friends, it's pronounced Chiswick and not Chiswick. So we're heading along the A4 now, westwards into Chiswick very shortly. And over on the left hand side we have the Furnival Gardens. Where just south of the Furnival Gardens you've actually got the River Thames, where it bends down towards the likes of Barnes. This is one of my favourite roads out of London, the A4 heading west. A few bumps in the road here and there, so do excuse the shaky camera work in places. So now we're approaching the leafy suburb, or district that is, of Chiswick. Lovely part of London is Chiswick. Chiswick was where the late Mel Smith grew up, and also it's famous for where Kim Wilde was born. Anybody who loves their 80s music, such as myself, all of you who remember Kim Wilde back in the day, well, Kim Wilde was actually born in this part of London, in Chiswick. Now we're now coming to the famous Hogarth roundabout. There's a sign for it there. The famous Hogarth roundabout with the temporary flyover that was built in the 60s, and it was only supposed to last about 6 months, but here it is nearly 60 years later and it's still in use. And on the left hand side we have the famous Fuller's Brewery, where all the beers are made and produced. That's the Fuller's Brewery, Fuller's of Chiswick. So this is a Hogarth roundabout we're coming to now. So it has lots of different roads coming off it. And then you've got the George and Devonshire pub on the left hand side. So if you go left down there, that takes you towards Richmond. But we're continuing and we're going on the second exit. So we're heading west. And then very shortly we shall be going on to the M4 motorway. Keep driving along the M4 heading west, that takes you to the likes of Bristol and South Wales. Swindon, Bristol, South Wales. At the moment we're still on the A4, but that shortly becomes the M4, just about half a mile up ahead. And then on the left hand side we have Chiswick House and Chiswick Park. This is one of the very busy roads into and out of London, because this main road connects central London with Heathrow Airport. So as you can see, it's busy with traffic doing its everyday thing. So once we clear this set of traffic lights up ahead, we will be actually going on to the M4. Here's one of the Metro line buses there. That's just cut across the road there, on the 272. If you turn left at this junction, it actually takes you to the Chiswick district of Grove Park. Not to be confused with the Grove Park in southeast London near Bromley. So we're going straight on at this junction. So we're now on Cedars Road, where we'll shortly be going on to the M4. There's one of the Transport UK driver training buses there, in its hideous purple and green livery. Purple and green should never be seen, but that's just my personal observation anyway. So as you can see, we've got this traffic sign above the road coming up, so that means we're shortly coming onto the M4 proper. So after this sign, this is where the motorway, the M4 motorway begins. So we're now officially on the M4. We're about to cross over the District line and the North London line tracks, which take you down to Kew Gardens and Richmond down that way. And in a few seconds we're actually going over the world famous Chiswick roundabout, which was opened in 1959 by the late actress Jane Mansfield. So this is the Chiswick flyover that we're now going on top of. The Chiswick roundabout is directly underneath at this spot. So if you go down that way, that takes you towards Kew Bridge and Brentford, and also Richmond. So we're directly on the Chiswick flyover. Over there in the distance, that is North Acton in all its scenic majesty. And then you've got the Brentford football stadium down here, just behind this self-storage facility. You've got the new Griffin Park Stadium where Brentford Football Club now host their matches. There's the Brentford Football Club site down there. And you've got these four tower blocks in front of us here, 5 tower blocks rather. That is actually Brentford itself coming up to Brentford. This is the Brentford Slip Junction, which takes you towards Brentford to the left and South Ealing to the right. So now we're on the elevated part of the M4 itself. Passing the Barrett building on the left hand side, a fine bit of Art Deco, 1930s Art Deco architecture. So this is the elevated stretch of the M4. Down there you've got a bus on the 65 route bound for Ealing Broadway. Number 65, which runs all the way from Kingston, Richmond, Kew Bridge, Brentford, South Ealing, all the way to Ealing Broadway. A lovely little route that, especially in the spring and in the summer. Now, as we're on the elevated stretch of the M4, you can actually see Kew Gardens and Richmond. So if I look in that direction, we're looking sort of south to southwest. And you've also got aircraft on their way to land at Heathrow Airport. So if you look down in that direction over in the distance down there, that's actually Richmond itself. So now we've just passed Gillette Corner in Brentford. Very shortly we shall be passing underneath the Piccadilly Line's Heathrow branch. So just a bit further up ahead, half a mile up ahead, we've got the Piccadilly Line's branch that goes to Hounslow West, Osterley, Heathrow Airport. along with the freight line that goes underneath, that goes from Southall down to Brentford Dock. Got the River Brent down here. That's where the town of Brentford gets its name from, the River Brent. So this bridge coming up here, very shortly this bridge coming up into view now, this is actually the bridge which carries the Piccadilly line's Heathrow branch. And up until 1964 this bridge was also host to District line trains as well. Because between the 1930s and 1964, the District line and the Piccadilly line both worked to Hounslow West. And then after 1964, the District line was withdrawn from Hounslow West, leaving only the Piccadilly line serving all the stops to Hounslow West from Southampton. And of course in 1977 the line was extended to Heathrow Airport, and in 1986 the line was looped round to run through Heathrow Terminal 4, and in 2008 was when the new Heathrow Terminal 5 station was built, following the opening of Heathrow Terminal 5. So as we head out of London, we're now into London's outer West London suburbs, as we bounce around on this lovely Routemaster bus. Very shortly we'll be passing the world famous Heston services. And back in the 1960s you actually had the old British European Airways Routemaster buses with the doors at the front, which used to connect the West London Air Terminal, which was in South Kensington, all the way out to Heathrow Airport. And those Routemaster buses used to haul a special trailer behind them which used to carry all the luggage. Roadside sign for the Heston services on the left hand side. So we've got Heston services on the opposite side of the motorway. In the USA you guys call them freeways. In the UK we call them motorways. So here's the sign coming up for Heston services on the left hand side just here. Heston services in half a mile. We've got another bit of aircraft preparing to land at Heathrow Airport from the east. Not a bad old day today, as you can see there's a few clouds in the sky, but at least the sky is blue. There's no heavy grey clouds or any rain clouds, so we're going to be fine. UK buses on the 482 route that goes to Heathrow Airport. So this is the turn off here for Heston services. For those who want a bite to eat or something to drink when they're travelling along on the motorway on their long journey from London out to the likes of Swindon or Bristol or Cardiff. Surprisingly quiet today, the M4, because normally it's very busy, especially at rush hour. This part of the M4 gets very, very busy with traffic. But as we can see here, we've practically got the motorway to ourselves, which is rather good. There's the traffic sign for Heathrow Airport. So now we're going to be crossing over the Parkway, which is near Hayes and Harlington. Passing a 60 mph speed restriction along this section of the motorway. There's a sign for Heathrow's terminals 2 and 3. So down there, that's the Parkway. So if you go off that way, that takes you towards Southall. And also towards Hayes and Harlington itself. So I'm very surprised that there's traffic's pretty light and everything's going nicely on this motorway, so I'm happy with that. There's one of the Berries coaches that goes from Taunton to Hammersmith. Taunton down in Somerset side of the country. There we are, we've got a 60 mph speed restriction on these electronic signs. So there's one of these Superloop buses, which means we're now about to go underneath Harlington Bridge. So this is Harlington Bridge. And you've got Hayes Fire Station, or Harlington Fire Station, just on the left there. That's the drill tower of Hayes Fire Station. So we will be coming off at this next junction as we head in towards Stockley Park. This is a part of London I'm actually familiar with because I've actually stayed on 2 or 3 occasions at the Premier Inn, which is just on the right hand side of the motorway. When I was working with David Lee at Routemaster for Hire, I actually stayed in the branch of the Premier Inn, which is just coming up on the right hand side, on the London bound side of the motorway. So that building there with the solar panels on the roof, that's the Heathrow North Premier Inn, which I've actually stayed at a good few years ago, about 2 or 3 times. Lovely place. So now we're coming off the M4 and then we come to this roundabout. So if you do a left at this junction, that takes you directly into Heathrow's terminals 1, 2 and 3. And if you turn right at this roundabout, follow the roundabout and turn right, that takes you to the likes of Uxbridge. So over that building on the left hand side, on the other side of the roundabout, that's the Holiday Inn, Heathrow Airport North Holiday Inn in all its majesty. So if you go down that part of the motorway, that takes you all the way down into Heathrow Airport itself. So what we're going to do, we're going to turn right round this roundabout. So we've got the M4 directly above now. So we've left the M4, underneath the M4, and then onto this northern part of the roundabout. Car park there, Dave. And then very shortly, in the next 5 minutes, we'll be coming into the Stockley Park complex. So now, instead of heading west, we're now travelling in the direction heading north. Also, somewhere underneath this area is where the Heathrow Express railway line goes from Heathrow Airport out to Hayes and Harlington, where it meets up with the Great Western Main Line towards Paddington. So now we're back to a normal A road now. Last time I was in this neck of the woods was about 2018, 2017, where we delivered the toys and Christmas presents from the Hasbro group, because they also have their headquarters in Stockley Park. So we're waiting at this set of traffic lights here, changing to green as we speak. we've done 20 minutes, which isn't too bad. So I can guarantee if you travel from Hammersmith all the way out to this part of London in the rush hour, it's going to take about at least an hour and a bit to get out here in all the traffic. So we're still heading north. So now we're crossing over the Great Western Main Line. That's the Great Western Main Line looking west towards the likes of Slough, or as I refer to it as Slough. So that's the Great Western Main Line we've just crossed over. That goes from Paddington out to Reading and to Plymouth and Bristol and South Wales. Coming off at this junction here, so that will take us into Stockley Park very shortly. What we do, we go around this roundabout and then we head into Stockley Park, the eastern part of Stockley Park. I'm not sure what the land was before they built this office complex in Stockley Park. I'm sure some of you YouTubers can, maybe you might shed some light on what was here before this office development was built back in the early 2000s. So we're entering the Stockley Park facility now. So this is all office developments and such like. But we've got this beautiful little lake here as well, which I like. And occasionally you do get swans and geese and ducks on this lake. So it's a lovely little entrance here. There we are, we've got a few swans, well not swans, but ducks and such like. Just got to watch out for these road humps because they are absolutely everywhere in this place. So we're coming into Stockley Park proper now, so there's the lake again from the left hand side. Oh, there's some swans, there's a couple of swans there in a cygnet. So here we are coming into Stockley Park, another road hump to negotiate and another lake to appreciate. So we've got this other little lake just here on the left hand side. So I believe we're coming up to the Canon offices. That's where our corporate hire is booked from. So I might have to turn off the camera very shortly because we'll be coming into the premises where we're needed. But I thought I'd just do you another vlog on my travels on my Routemaster journeys. So we're coming into the Canon offices and units here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn off the video as we're coming into our destination. I might make another vlog in the next few weeks or whenever because I'm on annual leave very shortly, another road hump there. But if I don't see you before, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's only 23 minutes long but shows you West London in all its finery along with the Stockley Park estate. If I don't see you before, hope you're well, and I shall say tar for the like.